Hey everyone, welcome to the B-Side Breakdown. My name is Brett Johnson and I am your host. This is episode 40 of a podcast where I talk with other artists, musicians, and songwriters about a song they've written that is meaningful to them that they want to chat about with me and get deep into the why behind it. But first, they need to give me permission to play the song in its entirety on this episode so you, the listener, can hear it and have some idea what we're talking about. Today, I'm excited to be talking with Aaron Stoquert from the band The Snorts about their song Butterflies. They're a great band. Their record Pitter Patter is fucking awesome, and I really hope you go and buy it on Bandcamp Friday. But first, here is the song Butterflies. All right, and that was Butterflies by the Snorts. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk with Aaron Stoquert about the song, the band, and everything that they're working on. So please stay with us and we'll be back in a minute. Thanks. Hey again, it's Brett from the B-Side Breakdown. Real quick, if you're digging this podcast and want to hear episodes without the ads, you can join our supporters tier called Down for the Cause over on Patreon. It's $5 a month. You get all of the episodes ad-free. You get them in advance before they're published, and you help keep this whole labor of love alive. That's at patreon.com/B-Side Breakdown. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. All right, and we are back. Let's bring in Aaron Stoquert from the Snorts to talk about the song Butterflies. Aaron, thank you so much for taking some time today to talk with me about the song.
You are more than welcome. Happy to join. Good to see you or hear from you, Brett, and hope everything's cool over there. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. So, yeah, this song is just ferocious, and I love the lyrics. I have a sense of where I think they're going, but I would love to hear from you. Why is it that this is the song you wanted to talk about today?
It's a great question. This song in particular, right now, it's one of those songs that this is gonna sound super friggin' corny. So hopefully everybody who's listening is all right with it. But it's one of those tunes that if you write music at any level, sometimes you write a song and you go, I don't know how I did that. And when you're listening back to it, it's one of those things where it just kind of, and it sounds cliche, but it just comes out of you as far like musically and lyrically, and it just kind of, there's a little bit of like lightning in a bottle, at least from my perspective. So, and I've gotten a lot of folks after our shows, or I've had someone recently, as recently as a couple weeks ago, come up to us and say this was their favorite song. And so you go back and there's a little self indulgent, but you go back and listen to it, and you're like, yeah, I don't remember how I did that. It wasn't like it's not a math problem. At least that's not how I write songs. So it's
Sure.
yeah. So there's definitely a kind of a kind of a unique character at the party vibe to it, where you're just like, that person get invited. That's interesting, So yeah, that's kind of why I want to chat about it, I guess.
No, that's cool, and I'm glad you brought it up the way you did, and frankly, I completely am supportive of that, and I don't think it's corny sounding at all because I get it. I mean, I know what that feels like when. For me, a lot of the songs I've written over the years, like a lot of them sort of show up and I'm like, I don't, yeah, just like you said, like how did that happen? And then when I look back on it, I'm just super grateful that it's there and that people seem to dig it, or it says what it says, or it means what it means. And it has all the connotations to it that I don't necessarily assign to it as I'm writing it. But I think those are some of the most beautiful things that come out. And yeah, I mean, I think that's just a slamming song. So that's super fun to hear. So tell me about when did this song? So actually, let me back up. So for all of you that don't know the Snorts, I'm just going to share a little history here. So Aaron and I talked, I think about 6 months ago, and we talked about a song called Weird But Okay that's on their record Pitter Patter that is just amazing, and you should get it. It's on Bandcamp. And we chatted about it, and for some reason, a technical snafu, I lost our entire conversation. And so Aaron's been gracious to come back again to talk about a different song. This time we're talking about Butterflies. But I have all this history
that's a
with
bummer
y'all.
for everybody and sorry to cut you off, but that's a
Yeah, go
bummer
ahead.
for everybody who's listening, because it was a party. We had a party 6 months ago, you and I, and but that's just something you and I are going to have to share, and that's
That's
okay,
true.
because that's why I was jumped at the chance to come back and chat with you, because we had a great time, and we'll just say that was our own little soiree that we had there.
There you go. So we had our own little party. None of y'all were invited, and that's just how it was. But now here we are 6 months later. No, that's cool. And so I have all this history on you guys because I've been paying attention to you now for 6 months and more. And so I just want to kind of give some background for everybody else. So y'all are from Albany, New York, right?
Yeah, so 3 of the band members are from Albany, New York. I actually live about 50 minutes south of the rest of the band, but when 75% of the band is from one area, you kind of bill from that area, really. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm just south of those guys. The positive is Albany has an amazing music scene. The spot where I'm at has an amazing music scene, and so we kind of have this really cool thing back and forth where the area that I'm in, I'm able to I go to shows basically 2 times a week, if not more. Just go to as an observer, go to to participate in the community, and the community up in Albany is amazing too. So but yeah, so it makes sense to me for us to bill from Albany too. Yeah.
No, got it. No, that's great. And, good on you for getting out and supporting as much music as you do. The So are you anywhere near then? My geography is terrible, so forgive me, but are you anywhere near Buffalo?
Other side of the state.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I'm like a couple hours north of New York City.
I see.
So where I'm at, a couple of the local shows, a couple of the promoters were able to get some bands from New York and Philly to come up. It's not too far of a drive.
Oh, cool.
And then Albany will get folks Albany gets folks from all over. But yeah, it's a nice mix. It's a cool spot. But Buffalo has an amazing music scene as well. Buffalo is amazing.
Yeah, and I see that you have a show coming up on August 15th out there, right?
Yes.
That's
Hot
that's
Mama's Canteen, I believe.
Hot Mama's Canteen.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, awesome. So the Snorts hail from New York in a couple different spots. And how long have you guys been a band now?
We've been a band since 2021, I want to say. It started as 2022. Sorry, I guess we started writing the first record, "Late to the Party," in 2021, and that was me and my little brother. My little brother Ryan, who's also and still is our producer. He's no longer the drummer, but he's our producer still. And we just wanted to write like an early 2000s punk, pop punk, not quite like all the way pop punk, but early 2000s type of record. And we had fun doing it, and we put it out, and then folks started asking if we could play a show here and there, and we were like, "Uh-oh, we're only two people. This is definitely a four-piece band, so yeah, we'll play a show, sure." Started like texting everybody, got our other little brother like, "Can you fill in on bass? We have a show coming up." And we are not a band right now, so and we had a blast, and it was great. The only bummer was my little brother Ryan was about 2 hours away from Albany.
Okay.
And so he, to his credit and to love him to death, he came out to a lot of the shows for like, I want to say 2.5 years before he was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Yeah, but he's an amazing producer. He's an amazing engineer, an amazing drummer. So we the rest of the guys were like totally get it. And now Nick Palazik is now our drummer, who's also an amazing drummer. He's got all the chops of playing in a wedding band, playing in a punk band, playing in a funk band. So he's got like a really cool approach to our tunes. So, but yeah, since 2021 is when we started writing that first record, and then ever since then, really, we've been trying to put music out pretty regularly.
Got it. And Billy and Ian have been consistent in their spots, lead guitar and bass.
Yeah, Ian was the first person that I outside of like someone that I knew. I just put like an ad out on Craigslist, and Ian responded. So the running joke is he probably maybe could be possibly still a serial killer. Don't know. So we'll see. It's been a few years and nothing's happened, but we're always kind of looking over our shoulder.
Sure.
No, Ian's awesome. He's in an amazing band called Always Grounded, based out of Connecticut, and definitely look them up. And he's just like a ball of energy. Ian joined, and he's completely in love with music, and we quickly realized that we definitely need a lead guitar player. And I saw Billy's band play. He was playing in a cover band. He has like a cover band, and he has a original band. I happened to see his cover band on a whim. I just went out somewhere, and they were playing, and I was like, "That's a really good guitar player," and kind of logged that in my back of my mind. And so I sent him a message on Instagram and was like, "Hey, we need a lead guitar player. Do you want to come play some music with the Snorts?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And we threw him into the fire, and I was like, "Cool, we have a show in 2 weeks. Can you learn these songs?" So
Awesome.
yeah, and then he's ever since then, we refer to him as the sauce, because when Billy comes in and puts that Billy sauce all over the song, we're like, it's just the glue that holds it together. And
Nice.
you mentioned our record Pitter Patter.
Yeah.
This was the first record that it wasn't just me and my little brother Ryan playing on it. So Late to the Party, the single On the Day the Nazi Died, Dork Factor, that's just me and Ryan playing all the instruments and doing our thing. Pitter Patter is the first time that we were able to have Billy and Ian on the record, and they were able to put their spin on the song. Like I would lay the foundation down, and then they were able to come in and do their thing. And so that's something that we're super proud of that EP.
Got it. No, that's really good to know and very helpful. So I didn't know that it was just the two of you on all those releases prior to Pitter Patter.
Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't connect that. So that's great. And Pitter Patter, yeah, I remember just when I was going through that last time, you're like, yeah, pick a song you want to talk about. And I was still just like, God, man, this whole thing is just this massive, compelling, awesome record. So again, everybody on Bandcamp, go get it. And I also saw that you got some newer stuff that I'd love to talk about later in the episode. But so when did the song Butterflies come together in the writing process for the record? I know, just from my experience, like songs that I wrote are not in the order that they appear on the record necessarily, obviously, and they just come when they do. But how was this one of the first songs or the later songs that you all wrote for this, or how did that come together?
So we only write sequentially. So
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm just
I'm like, hey, color
if
me
it,
so
it's
surprised,
the
you know.
first, it's the first song, and if it's not the, no, we're, um, it probably came about midway through writing. There was a bunch of demos that fly around, and I was throwing some demos out to the guys and out to our Ryan, our producer,
Mhm.
and Butterflies came in, and it originally didn't have that what I refer to as like the polka beat or the two step, that like really punk like boop bop boop bop that type of like drum beat
Sure.
to it. It
Yep.
had more of a straightforward rock beat, and that was cool. But it definitely had a different vibe to it. And Ryan had suggested like, hey, listen, let's do all gas no brakes type of situation, and let's just make this thing fly. And at first, like I was like, I don't know if I like that beat to it, but now I can't imagine it not being in there. So yeah, it came together about midway through writing Pitter Patter, and like I said, after the tune played earlier in the episode here, it was just like came up with the riff, that first like do da da do that type of riff, and then just kind of went with it, and kind of let whatever improvisation came out of it. Did some trimming of the fat type of situation, kind of blocked it out in a way, but really, like I said, it was like, yeah, sometimes you're like, I don't know where that all came from, and I like it, and I'm glad I hit record on my phone when I was recording the demo. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's cool. Got it. So so one thing I wanted to ask you about lyrically, and I always find this an interesting subject because everybody comes at it differently. So I think of one artist that I used to like a lot, and I still love his talent and ability, and just respect his songwriting. Is Seal from like his first couple records, way back when, and I always loved that. I never understood what the hell he was saying, and I remember in an interview he was saying that's kind of the point as well, that I don't want necessarily you to know, because I want you to form your own conclusions on how it feels to you and what you think it means and how it, and all that. I'm like, I totally appreciate and love that approach. But at the same time, I love that you shared the lyrics with me for this. Is there a specific, I mean, is there
Are you
anything
talking
specific you
about?
want to talk to about this, or is it you still just leave that up to the interpretation? Because I mean, to me, there's okay. I mean, yeah, I can conceptually think of some things that you might be talking about here, but the specificity is not there, which I think might be completely intentional. I just wanted to ask about it.
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to dive into the lyrics if you want to ask specific questions about it. That's totally fine. But I do agree with Mr. Seal. And you're talking about the Kiss from a Rose Seal, right? The that guy.
I am talking about that guy, but primarily the record before that had Crazy on it and Future Love Paradise and those songs.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Because yeah, there's definitely Kiss from a Rose has those moments where it's like, and you're like, oh,
Right.
I'm
Like
not
what?
quite, I'm not quite sure what you're saying over there, Seal.
Yeah.
But um, I definitely subscribe to the philosophy of universally specific, and I realize that's an oxymoron, right?
Sure.
Where it's like, how can you get really specific to paint a picture, and at the same time be vague enough to make it applicable to as many people as possible? And it's
Totally
not
get
like
it.
it's like and it's not like I'm like, oh man, everybody needs to latch on to whatever I'm writing here. But it's also like I think if you get too like, for example, Mountain Goats, the band Mountain Goats, hyper specific on their lyrics, and the Mountain Goats are great. But there's a certain turn when you get that specific, because it's so tightly and beautifully written that it's like you're reading a novel set to music, and so you're kind of put in that world that is being painted, and that's cool. There's
Sure.
there's definitely um, uh, a ton of value in that type of songwriting. I can't write lyrics that way. I like writing lyrics that are left open for interpretation and left open for like, what does it mean to you? I know what it means to me, But there's certain things that are specifically written to just be like, you could take this a couple of ways, and I like that. When I really like that in songs that I listen to. So that's what I tried to do with these lyrics.
Got it. Got it. No, totally get it. And and yeah, I used to just think back on some of the records from my past where I would approach it exactly the same way. Even though I would write songs specifically about a person or an event that I just have to work out, like for whatever reason. So I'm doing it through the song, but I still will make it vague enough where it's like you're not going to know who I'm writing about, even if you know me, kind of thing. But still, it kind of has cast that wider net without, like you're saying, trying to be all things to all people. It still has a kind of specificity to it, but universally, as you say, which I liked how you said that. That's awesome. Um, I have to ask. So it's rare to come across bands that will do a Chumbawamba cover, and obviously I know Chumbawamba's been around since forever ago, and I saw them back in 1990 on the tour when they played, or 92ish when they played Minneapolis, and I've kind of been a fan of them for a while, but they've sort of fell out ever since the kind of the hit they had. That sort of I haven't heard really anything much since, even though I know they've put out other records. Um, I was just curious how did it what was going on with On the Day the Nazi Died, and why was that the single?
First of all, Chumbawamba kicks ass,
Fuck
and
yeah.
there's if anybody has not listened to the was it 1993 or four, the record Anarchy, that
Hmm.
record top to bottom is a masterpiece, full stop. And hearing, I think on the day the Nazi died, the studio version, they have a live version where they do it a cappella, and they have a studio version that is more in line with what we covered. Um, I mean, that we covered that in 2023, and I had like an acoustic version of it that was more in the style of AJJ, that band, where it was really kind of like folk punk. Um, and I always knew I wanted to do a cover of it. And while we were recording Dork Factor, I was just like, hey, let's record this as well. And if we use it, we use it. If we don't, we don't.
Okay.
And it was around that time where I mean, look, what we say live when we introduce the song is we're gonna this is the next song is by Chumbawamba, and we go and then we say it's not that song. But what we do say is they introduced this as basically saying it's a bummer that they still have to play this song, and they're going to
Right.
continue to play it until it's not relevant anymore. And we gladly would take that torch up and play the song, even though it's like, it comes in the middle of our set, and it's like, we don't mean to be a bummer, but listen, they're here and they're there and they're everywhere,
Right.
especially now. And
Yeah.
even in 2023, there was, and way before that, and unfortunately, long before that too. But it's such a poignant, visceral song
Hmm.
when you could dive into the lyrics of it, and we really wanted to put our spin on it, and it's just it's unfortunately very relevant, and that's why we play it.
Got it. No, great. And thank you for playing it, and thank you for sharing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, for anyone who's interested in that, that is also on Bandcamp. So you can go there to find that too, as well as all of their other releases. So please go to Bandcamp on Bandcamp Fridays and buy all of the Snort stuff so they get all the money. Um, the so so the record came out in October 2024, right? October last year is when Pitter Patter came out.
Correct.
And what are you? I know that you've released another single since then. I think in March, the Walking into Walls. But that song, um, I think that song is also a little bit older because I saw it from some live video that you did. I think somewhere mid 2024. So has that song been permeating a while, or is that on a different record, or is where did that come into play?
Yeah, Walking into Walls is off of Dork Factor,
Oh,
the
okay.
record before Pitter Patter. We had a acoustic version kicking around, and we were like, hey, it's always in the back of my mind. I think it's always cool when bands are like, hey, here's a kind of a different flavor of that song that may be a few years old, and we wanted to put that out, and that's why we did the acoustic version of Walking Into Walls, and thought it was only appropriate to add the electric version on the single as well. But that's
Sure.
off of Dork Factory, yeah.
Okay, got it. Got it. Cool. Cool. So, is there anything more specifically about the song "Butterflies" or the record "Pitter Patter" overall that you want to touch on that we haven't talked about yet?
I just yeah, Butterflies was described to me this way from a friend of mine recently, where he's like, that song is a very much a you're riding the lightning type of song, and I agree wholeheartedly, because it's for us it's one of the harder songs for us to play live, but it's really fun to play, and I really like the journey that we can take the audience on, because it starts so aggressively and it has that kind of big chorus,
Mm-hmm.
and goes into another spot there, and it's always fun to see what the crowd does with that. They'll either most recently we had a couple of shows where it started a circle pit, and then the song stops and we do like a thing, and you see the circle pit start up and then stop and then start up again and get fast and then stop, so it's always fun to see what folks are doing to it, and it's definitely trying to hang on for dear life while we're playing that song. So but it's one of my favorite songs that we've ever done, and I hope that folks listen to it and dig it, and if you don't, that's totally cool. You don't have to like everything. It's totally fine.
No, I hear it. Cool, man. Thanks, Aaron. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk to you more about kind of what's coming up next for you, the Snorts, and what y'all are working on going forward. Cool?
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, everybody hang out. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with Aaron from the Snorts, and we were talking about the song Butterflies earlier. Again, if you want to check that out, please go to bandcamp.com. Sorry, the snorts.bandcamp.com to see all of their releases there. Aaron, I wanted to ask you then, so what I saw, we talked about the recent single you got, but that's off an older record and it's an acoustic version, which is cool. But is there, between the shows you've played and that you have coming up and any new recordings, kind of what's coming up next for you as a band, and what are you all working on?
We want to do a full length record. We've had a couple of EPs, 5 or 6 song EPs, a couple of singles come out, and we really wanted to like buckle down and write a full length, at least 10 songs, and try to press it on vinyl and go from there. So we do have actually, there is our show. A couple weeks ago in June, we played with Hell Beach, Megan from work, and a band called Meow Meow out of Poughkeepsie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was recorded live by the record label DCPC Live.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And so Scott from DCPC recorded that show, and that will be put out on vinyl. I don't know when, but that is in the works as well. So
Awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about that as well. We felt we played well, and excited to hear what it sounds like.
No, that's great. Scott is super cool. I just had him on a couple episodes back, and it was really fun talking with him about 504 Plan and just what he's working on. But that's badass that he got that recorded, and I look forward to seeing that too, or hearing that when that comes out. What are you all doing in terms of kind of regional or more extensive traveling and touring and shows and things? Like, are you ever coming down to the Southeast into the Atlanta area or Florida?
So we played Fest a couple years ago, or Fest 22, whatever that was, though, last year, and no, we weren't able to apply for festivals this year for a number of reasons. Personal reasons.
Got it.
And so the goal would be to apply to Fest again. There is Camp Punksylvania that we'd love to play, and that's they're taking submissions and opening up submissions for the next year's show in the Poconos. If you've never been to Camp Punksylvania, man, that is a blast. It is in the middle of the mountains in Pennsylvania, and it's a full on. I think next year will be their 6th year. Yeah. And so we'll be applying to more festivals for 2026. right now it's like we're in writing mode and trying to, which means like we'll play some shows within a 2 to 3 hour radius, or or maybe 4 hour radius, depending on how it goes. But really we want to try to like buckle down and get a record out.
No, that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, look forward to seeing you whenever I get a chance, and hopefully can come up to either your way, or in a couple of years I'll see you come down more southeast, and hope to catch you. So what's the timeline on that DCPC live record coming out?
It's a great question, for one Mr. Scott over at DCPC.
Fair.
Um,
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I know that Scott will, he'll deliver when he's ready. He's got a bunch of really awesome records that just came out. The Louseketeers just put a record out with DCPC. Definitely check them out. And he's got a few other ones that I don't know if I'm able to announce, but Scott's always cranking them out for sure. So definitely go subscribe to DCPC on Instagram. Go check out the website. He's got a really amazing community that he's putting together in the Hudson Valley of New York.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And thanks for the plug. When then are you targeting potentially your new record coming out? Is that something is there any scramble to get that done before the end of this year, or are you just letting it evolve as it does, and probably hopefully sometime in 26?
Probably 26.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no scramble for the end of the year.
Cool.
We've got a bunch of songs in the works. Is that cliche, right? Where you're just like, we've got a bunch of them in the works. The record's going great, but like, but it's true.
Sure. I get it.
So yeah, but nothing yet. What I do know is we want to, Pitter Patter was a little bit of a departure from what we did with Dork Factor and Late to the Party. Every record has something that we're trying differently.
Yep.
Late to the Party was very much early 2000s, type of, pop punkish esque type of thing. Dork Factor had some more aggressive elements to it, with some more emo elements to it that we were exploring. Pitter Patter leaned really heavy into an aggressive side on most of the songs. So we know that the next one is, okay, what's the next evolution that we want to do with this? How do we get, and the word that keeps coming up is like, how do we get really fucking weird with it and keep our still Snorts sound that we've cultivated. And so we're trying to push the buttons more and more and figure out, where all that stuff lies. So
I love it. I love it. It's always great to hear artists pushing their own envelopes and expanding and exploring all that. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I definitely will keep my eye out for that too. I can't wait to hear the new record when it's done, or when you get any singles released even. So where is then, for all the listeners that are now chomping at the bit to get everything the Snorts, where is the best place to find y'all? Is it just Instagram is kind of the primary place, or Bandcamp, or where should people look for you first?
Yeah, definitely check us out on Instagram. It's the handle is the snorts.band, BAND.
Okay.
So say what's up, say hello, give us a follow or check it out. And you can also check us out at www.thesnorts.com. That has all the links to our streaming platforms and Bandcamp. Bandcamp has all of our merch up there as well. I say all, but we have 2 shirts, and so you can go check out the 2 shirts that we have for sale, and do that at Bandcamp for sure.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to include all of that into the posts and when I publish this in the next couple of weeks. So that is great. Aaron, it's awesome talking to you again, and I hope we get to do this again when your next record comes out. I love the band, and I can't wait to see it live and experience it live sometime. But thanks again for making the time again to come over and chat with me about all of it.
You are very welcome, Brett. Thank you very much, and happy to chat anytime. And we can do it 2 or 3 times in a row. Doesn't matter. You let me know, and we'll go from there. But thank you for all the support, and it's been a blast, man. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks.
Three Crows Club presents B-Side Breakdown. Spread your wings, rather there's something else. Despite these legs, you on your back. I'm wondering if you could get to heaven now. So emotional, sailing all these seas. But honestly, together we could be something that blows the mind. Who knows where
All right, and that wraps up another episode of the B-Side Breakdown. I want to thank Aaron Stoquert from the band The Snorts for coming on to talk about their song Butterflies. In the background, you're hearing the song Missing You for Days by the band Johnny Rook. If you like what you hear, please go back and listen to the previous episode because that's what it was all about. I also want to thank Adam Coulong and Carrie Bozel for helping me put together the jingle you hear at the beginning and the end of this episode. Up next, I got a song called All I Need by the band Exactly No, and I'll give you a taste of that at the end of this episode. Thank you so much for your continued support. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Stay safe and sane out there, and we will catch up on the next one. Thanks.